All right. Hi there. I'm really excited to be able to spend some time with you. And I have to I have to check my words because a lot of times I'll jump in and it's things that I kind of default to. I'm really excited. I'm thrilled, and I really want to just like make sure that I'm checking myself as we enter into this conversation. Because right at the very beginning here, if I'm losing my connection and choosing to kind of phone in, then I'm going to lose the ability to really be present with you and to really serve you and myself and anyone else out there that comes across this. So let's take a moment to just ground in and to be here with each other. I am excited. I had to check myself there. I'm like, yeah, no, that's the right thing. Right now, at the time of this conversation, we are in the middle of a global pandemic with COVID-19, and to be honest, it feels vulnerable. It feels inappropriate. That's it. It feels inappropriate to be excited right now when I think about the global temperature right now. Um, and as things have been going forward and continuing to evolve, I can't help but say I feel excited. At first, I was feeling disconnected. I was like, I think I'm the only one that sees this as like an opportunity, and no one wants to hear that, you know. Like it was, and there was this big disconnect that I felt, and it's still there to an extent. But I'm feeling this excitement now, and it started up from a conversation I just recently finished. During this time, I have a couple different principles that are guiding me. Uh, One of them is to slow down. First and foremost, slow down. And this is what I do. I'm someone that's used to being in areas of change. I'm used to going into areas that I'm uncomfortable with. So slowing down is a way for me to be able to see the scenario, see what's going on around me, and understand from there. And also to see what's missing and where I can fill in the gap. Then my next thing I like to do is then to speed up. So that's number two, is just to speed up and like just take action, and just like go for it. The third thing is then to bring people together, to come together and to co-create with one another. The fourth one is to serve, to really be in there and see how can I contribute to what we have going on right here? How can I contribute to all that's going on? And then the last one, the fifth one, is to lead. And it's in that space here. These are my five guiding principles right now, and we'll continue to see how things evolve from there. But these are the things that guide me. Even from the very beginning, I had sped up before I had slowed down, and I had to check myself there. So I was just in a conversation, and this conversation, I was expressing some of the things about like how do I really show up for people during this time? How do I show up in my own leadership? And how do I serve on multiple? How do I show up and serve? And how do I show up and lead? Because there's a right balance for this for me at this time. And what came up was a feeling of relief that I was feeling right now. And the relief here is that I hadn't realized how much responsibility I was taking on to try and bring everyone through the World Joy movement. And now with COVID and everyone at home, I'm seeing people get on Facebook Lives and just create like they're like, I just want to play a song for you, or like we're gonna have like a nerd night, or we're gonna do like a game thing, and like there's just people coming out of the woodwork just doing stuff. And I'm like, I said, this is world joy right now. Yes, we're in the middle of like all this, like it's a period of uncertainty and loss and grief and fear. And people are coming out to play and to contribute what they have to contribute. And I felt like what came up was I realized that I had felt like there were all these different layers that I had to go and serve to beforehand. But now everyone else is showing up uniquely and bringing their gifts to the table in whatever that they can do. And it's created more space for me. I'm like, oh, I don't need to go and create a funny video to like uplift people through that there. I'm like, I'll let a comedian who's really great at video, like videography, or someone that wanted to experiment with that, go do that. I can sit here and serve my change leaders. I can come out here and be right on mission, on purpose for this. It's like, if you want to tune in to Niiamahashong TV, like, what's going to be coming out of it. And for the first time, I just feel like I feel like we're all playing the game, and it is the experience of world joy for me in that moment, because I know that if we can continue showing up with our uniqueness here, that can last throughout this, and we'll actually consistently be able to experience that element of creativity, collaboration, and co-creation with one another. And we can see the uniqueness and joy that comes out of real self-expression. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this conversation, and I'm excited for this time, and I'm excited for what we're going to co-create as a result of the experience that we're having together. And I'm excited to actually step up and say, look, there are other people who can handle other things. But when you come here into our world, you know that we're going to be helping you move forward. We're going to serve, we're going to lead, and we're going to co-create. Oh, I can feel that right here. I'm like, okay, we're getting closer. We're stepping even further into it. Now, today I want to, I'm really happy because we get to spend some time here with someone who is a co-creator, and I've been able to co-create with in the past. And I'm really, really, really excited. And I checked myself beforehand this time to be able to slow down and spend time with Madeline today. Madeline, I'm going to unmute you here. I'd love to just bring you into this conversation. If like, let's do this here. Let's do like a physical check-in. What are you feeling inside of your body right now?
It's interesting, right? Because obviously we're going through something very global right now. And I talk to a lot of people, and, you know, I suppose stand up as a leader in a few different ways. And, you know, you're holding strong, you're trying to hold strong. And I think it's also really important to notice where you're vulnerable and where you're feeling scared or uncomfortable for health purpose, whatever it is, right? So I suppose at this precise moment, I'm quite comfortable being uncomfortable today. And I think it was the first moment through this whole process that I felt more than excitement, because I'm very much like you. I resonate with that so much, what you just spoke about there, about being excited. I feel like we as a global nation, I suppose, are going through grief right now. And there are several stages of grief. You know, there's being totally oblivious and believing it's not true, and then there's anger, and there's depression, and you know, at the end of it, we'll come to acceptance, and we will all have grown into something different. And at the same time, we are walking through pain right now in loads of different ways, and being connected and being really aware on a global scale as well as within myself. You know, you feel it all sometimes. And just right now in this country, we are going through a big change. And I don't think a lot of people slept last night. And I was also vigilant, and I know it's not mine. I know it belongs to all of us. And I think it's just practicing to hold that and be okay with holding that, and show up as a leader and feeling that that's okay. It's okay to feel all those things, and also not losing sight on the light, on what's beautiful and what's possible, and the amazing things that will come out of this and that are already coming out of this. I think you mentioned connection and collaboration, and we are already starting to see that. And I think it was Russell Brand that said the other day, it's quite amazing that we think that that's a thing. It's like, oh my gosh, people are connecting. We are actually communicating. You think, well, duh, that's what we should have done a long time ago, right? But sometimes we need to go through these things to really realize what's real and what's important. And there's a deep sense of excitement of what's to come, and at the same time we are moving through grief. And it's, I suppose I see it as one of the quests, as being who I am and what I do, to hold people and help to hold people and help them. I always say this to my clients, or when I'm teaching, is that we need to hold our clients or whoever we speak to and see them as whole, you know, hold them to that highest potential and speak to them from that place, because everything else is a story. And I think now that's more important than ever. You know, there's lots of stories. We have stories now that we live into. And if we just practice to hold people to their highest potential, they can hold on to those stories that give them light. And I think that's really important right now.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's do this here. I want to do slow down in two different ways, right? So I want to hold you. Right. I feel like you're out. You're there's a lot that's going on right now. Right. And I want to go back to the initial question that I asked you here, which is, how are you feeling right now in your body? I can even hear, even in that question there, how much you're holding other people right there. Right. And I want to make sure that I don't gloss over this here, because you are someone like I got very excited when I saw that we were going to have a conversation here, because you are someone who holds people. I just was recently invited to a new community that you put together to actually spread more of the light and spread more of the joy. Like, so I know that. And a lot of people, like you said, didn't get sleep last night. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I don't know if you're one of them or not. I just want to make sure that before we go and have a conversation around everything else that's going on, I want to bring it to this conversation right here with just me and you, and what it is that you need. So I'll ask you again, and it might just be something really quick. It might be something longer, but for right now, in this moment, how are you feeling in your body?
I feel good. I feel, the only word that comes out is that I feel very expansive right now. And I think I know why that is, because I kind of feel like I was made for this time. And over a long period of time, I've noticed that I feel like there's no space. I feel so small, and there's no space, and you're sharing and you're giving, and is sometimes met by a lot of I don't know, like blockages, I should say. And I don't think I've ever had as many amazing conversations with people as I've had this last week. And what I mean is, I have fantastic conversations through work, but I mean conversations with neighbors, people you meet on the street, people you connect with online. There's another level of connection happening right now, and that makes me feel really good. It makes me feel hard. It makes me feel like actually excited, because I feel like I can meet people even more the way I am. It's almost like who I am is not that I need acceptance, but it's met with another form of openness, I should say. And it makes me feel expansive, because it's like I've been in training for so long, personally doing so much work and going through pain and sorrow and all these things. And it's like I'm here and I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. And I wouldn't say I'm excited right now. I would feel more expansive right now. But it's a good feeling. It's not, there was moments a while ago when I was really drained because I was holding a lot. And I know now why, because this was happening. I just didn't know it yet. It was before we could see it. But energetically, it was there. And when it happened, there was a release for me. I was like, that's why I've been feeling how I've been feeling. That's why it's been hard to hold it. That's why it feels like it's ending. I had this idea of things are ending. I said it to my husband, things are ending. Everything's ending. I thought about death a lot, and I couldn't make out why. And then as this started to happen and we started to see it, I just went, that's why. And some of that feeling of being drained and exhausted, just kind of, I could take that coat off and I could just kind of get back in. And so I feel really expansive right now. And it feels good. It feels really calm. It feels really calm. I feel calm from holding a lot to feeling more flow. Because I know that I'm meant for these times. I'm trained for these times. This is my time of support. You know?
I do. Someone described it. They're like, for some of us, this is our Super Bowl. We've been playing the game, but now we really get a chance to shine. So I want to thank you. I feel us in this conversation, and what's really great is I'm still excited and grounded with you, and there were a number of times where your hand went to your chest throughout here. And I think the more that we can play from this space, whatever that means for you, I'm going to back up a little bit, whatever that means for you, the more that we can play from that space in this conversation and be expansive from there. I feel that I want to use this time as a place to fuel you and fill you as you go on. And knowing that you're expansive, the fun part about that is that, like, as much as we feel, there's still going to be more that's growing. So Madeline, let's do this here. Like, I do want to kind of, like you said, you've been training, you've been getting ready for this year. I want to spend. No, actually, sorry, I don't. I want to call you out as like a really powerful coach who has consistently found different ways to serve various people. I think we'll come back to that. We're in a heart space right now that I don't want to take us out of, to go through some things. So let's stay in this space of expansiveness here. Today, I want to hold you in whatever way that looks like. All right, I'm not tied to any formats here. All I know is that, like, we have the opportunity to connect in ways that we have the opportunity to just connect in whatever way it serves. So I'm going to ask this question. I've never really asked it before, but I'm going to ask you here. What do you need right now, Madeline?
When you said the words, I'm going to hold you, that resonates with me, because I hold a lot, and I'm very good at holding. And perhaps not seeking the opportunity to be held a lot, because I often tell myself that I don't even tell myself I don't need it. I just don't think about it because it's nothing that I'm used to. But I know that I do need it. So the idea of being held energetically, the idea that, the reminder that you're not alone, that we are all in this together, and there are amazing people. That makes me excited. There are amazing people out there, and I know a lot of them that are just connecting and doing this too. And I think, allowing myself to be held, as in that way, is really, it's a really beautiful feeling to me, because I'm not used to that so much. I have this saying, and I use it a lot lately, just this reminder that we're resting on the shoulders of giants. And it gives me comfort, because sometimes I forget that I'm resting on the shoulders of giants, you know, our ancestors, our connections in this lifetime, whatever you want to put there. But this idea that we're not alone, like there's something holding us underneath, it's really comforting to me. So it reminds me of that when you're wording this idea of holding space for me.
Absolutely. And we're going to play with this in a couple of different ways here. Firstly, this is a question for you. Do you have a token or something that's around you that you can see or pass or go to in your life that can remind you that you're resting on the shoulders of giants?
The time I remember that most is when I'm in nature, as in when I go out, and I don't just mean any nature, I mean like forest with trees and roots. It's the time that's where I'm born. I'm born, you know, in the country close to forests. So for me, that is it. But I suppose I don't have a particular place as such that I would go to.
So we're going to go down in different paths all throughout this conversation. There's no one place here, but especially as we get into in this environment where lockdowns seem to be happening and all, like we never really know what's taking place. I invite you to see, is there something in your home that you can bring in that just by seeing it might remind you? It may not give you the same levels of energy, but just give you that reminder that you are actually resting on the shoulders of giants, right? So that's an invitation for you after this call here to find something to imbue with that significance, to simply anchor and remind you as you go on through here.
Do you know, I've already got it. Yeah. This Christmas when I had lots of visitors from overseas, my mum brought tapestry that my grandmother had made or has made. She's passed on now. And she's written on it as well. And that's the thing, that the image that I got straight away, because when I look at that, it really reminds me of that feeling of that knowing that I'm not alone. I think living overseas as well, being far away from family, you can sometimes forget that you actually come from, you know, generations. There's generations behind you, and you forget because you're kind of a little bit cut off. And I think that tapestry just reminds me of where I come from and the strength I come from. The women in my family and men, but the strength of these women, I get reminded of that when I see that tapestry.
Great. And I'm hearing the ancestral knowledge. I'm hearing it, like it really captures a lot. So I'll leave it to you to go and expand in that. But I want to make sure that you had something just kind of just whatever, whenever you pass it. No, there's no work that needs to be done. No, nothing other than just acknowledging it as it shows up for you. I'm noticing right now that we're having a connection issue. I think we're coming back into connection now from recording. Okay. You know, I got really present to something as you were talking. And if there's anything in particular that you'd like to be held on, let me know. I will call out something though right now if that works for you. So I got really present to to things ending, to a feeling of to feelings of grief. Um, and when you were talking about holding, and you had your hands like this, um, there's a feeling of like it wasn't heaviness, but it felt very full, right? It felt very full. And so like when you say expansiveness and you're going like this, I'm like, okay, we're creating even more space. You know, the question that comes to mind right now is like, since you're so used to holding others here, what is something that you really need to let go of?
Control.
Keep going.
Like the idea of um, control an outcome, or and I suppose that's attached to like fear of unknown, or um,
Without having to like go like without having to just allow it to come out, without having to coach yourself in this moment here, because I know you're powerful enough to do that, right? Tell me more about control. And well, actually, first let me ask you: is that the thing that you really need to let go of right now?
I suppose not all control, no, because there's a sense of control that keeps me safe. I think it's more trust. So it's not so much letting go of trust, but it's actually allowing trust. So I know I'm changing the question to the opposite, but it means the same thing, right? It's two ends of the same stick. But this whole idea of um, really leaning into trust. Um, I think that's something that I feel really deeply right now, that um, it's easy, just like you talked about, speeding up and move on, because it's, you feel excited and this is the time to support, and in doing that you can lose yourself along the way because you're holding so much that you're forgetting that you know it's okay for you also to be held.
It's okay for who?
It's okay for me to be held as well as it is for me to hold others, right? So I think the idea of trusting, um, and to be more trusting, I suppose. I suppose I just have to let go of perfection and needing things to be perfect, and trusting that you're enough. Like who you are, your truth, what you stand for. There's always people out there that's not going to agree with that or whatever, and just really being okay with. It's kind of another level of authenticity, I suppose.
So let's play with that. Let's play with that there. Um, well, let me check in with you, like, because I have the tendency to find things that are interesting and to pull the thread and to go down there. But I want to check in with you here. If you're going to be truly held in this conversation, where would we need to go? We can continue down where we're going, but if there's some place that you're like, actually, this would feel like me resting. This would feel like me being able to like to be on the shoulders of giants here. Where would we need to go? Yeah, let's breathe it. Let's breathe through it.
I suppose what comes up is just allowing you to, I'm not used to allowing someone else to hold that and steer that. So I guess it is a form of trust there too, is for me to be held and allow myself to be held. It is letting go of that idea of controlling the conversation or controlling anything, and just trusting that it will take me to where I need to go, right? So I'm going to just practice to be held. And I do find that that is uncomfortable.
I get it. And I acknowledge you for choosing to practice, right? Because this is the thing. Like it's with me, the future is now, right? And this is a space to really be in that. It was very funny because you're like, I have to let go of control. So I'll control this by taking this question and turning it into the opposite of what it is that you're asked. And I was like, I see you. I see what you're doing here. I don't let you have that, you know? So right now I've been hearing a lot of, I've been asking some questions and I've been noticing like what I feel disconnected to right now is the expansiveness right here. What I'm noticing physically as we're talking is a lot of like, there's a lot of up in the head, like thinking about it, trying to see where it is. And then there's the language that comes out is an I suppose. Right. And I just want to just kind of like bring us down here, bring you back to the expansiveness that you have for yourself, and bring you down into your deeper knowing, to the parts of you that just know, the parts of you that you just trust, right? And bring us into that here. So from that space there, all right, like, and if you don't mind, can you put your hand on your chest, really get in touch with that expansiveness right here, for what that is for you. Okay. Let's just breathe into your hand, breathe into your heart. Just let it out with a loud sigh. And allow yourself to be held here. If I was physically with you, I would be giving you a hug right now. I know it seems like taking to, but it's like to just let you know, like you can actually just rest. You can rest through this here. And one of the things that stay with this feeling of expansiveness. I'm going to talk a little bit, but I want you to, more than anything else, just connect with it here. My intention for today's conversation is to make sure that you have the energy to go back out in the world, but haven't been taking care of yourself. One of the things that I love about what you had said about the shoulders of giants is that I've often heard that as standing on the shoulders of giants. But what is wonderful is, like, for you, it's resting on the shoulders of giants. And my invitation to you, as you're in this expansive space and you're coming from a place of your deep knowing, connect with what resting into leadership would be like for you. Connect with resting into holding space. What would that look like for you if you just allowed yourself to rest into it? Because there is a way. There is a way to rest into everything that's coming. To rest into the grief, to rest into the ending, to rest into the loss, to rest into the possibility, the excitement, the leadership, the service. There is a way. And allow yourself to expand as you connect further with that deep knowledge. This wisdom that's not just your own, but has been passed through from you from generation to generation. Ancestral knowledge that has been passed through to you without you knowing. You've been groomed for this moment your entire life. See yourself resting into this. See yourself resting into your leadership. And I'm going to invite you to take as long as you need. It might seem that like you need to rush back into this conversation with me, but I'm not. I'm in no rush. Taking a few minutes for yourself right here could be the most important thing you do all day. Taking care of yourself. I got you. It's no rush. You don't have to worry about anyone else here. Everything that you're doing is in the rest right now that you're experiencing. You are serving yourself and you are serving others. Allow that to be. And feel that feeling of expansiveness just on its own, restfully growing within you. Allow that to take over what it needs to and ground you more into this moment, ground you into your seat, ground you into your purpose, ground you into your deep knowledge. And feel now, feel the seat supporting you. You are held even where you sit. Feel your feet on the floor as the ground holds you up too. And know that the physics of it all, with every energy that you put out, there's, as you said, the opposite is also true. The more that you're serving, you're also being held. And just connect with that. Connect with that for yourself. And be with that. And when you have that, when you're in a place of really being connected to that expansiveness, that deep knowing, then come back in this conversation and we'll continue from there. More than anything else, you take your time for what you need. Or no rush. And as you're having this experience, I'm going to talk out to anyone that's here, and I'll just explain a little bit of why I chose this path. As we're going and leading through change, our energy is incredibly important. And being able to spend the time that we need to take care of ourselves first, through whatever that needs to look like. We want to make sure we're pausing into that. There's a part of us that knows. There's a part of us that just has this deep knowledge. Call it intuition, call it your gut instinct, call it whatever you need to. But in times of change and in times of uncertainty, there's a part of us that just knows. We want to make sure we get a chance to explore and to be with that. You also notice that we're given time here. There's no rush. So often in our lives, we feel that we have to go from one thing to another to have a quick solution to just move forward. Sometimes we just need to slow down for ourselves, to be able to take care of ourselves. Slow down is the first thing that's on the list. And after this, we'll have what we need. We'll have the energy to speed up. We'll have the clarity to speed up. We'll have the direction, the courage, the boldness, and also just that joyful rest, knowing that like going forward, I can get back out there. It's an interesting game that we play as leaders here. Sometimes the greatest leadership that we can do is just to allow ourselves to be held, and knowing that in holding ourselves, actually that's not even the right language, and allowing others to hold us, we are serving them as well. So, Madeline, let me ask you, are we complete here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's just breathe this all in. Is there anything else that you need in our last 5 minutes? If the last 5 minutes was going to give you, if you already have everything that you have right now, and we just gave ourselves that space for 5 minutes for one more thing that you need, is there anything that comes to mind?
No.
Okay, great. Then let's leave it at that.
Mm.
I acknowledge you for the work that you do, and I hear you. I hear you to rest throughout this here. We're having this conversation right now, but just know that I have got your back, even when it doesn't seem like I'm there.
Mm.
We're in this together. I really
Yeah.
acknowledge you for being one of those people who are standing up to do something. And just know that I'll be looking at you and I'll be like, yeah, we got this. Simply by the fact that we're here.
Mm.
I feel you. Thank you.
Thank you.